So I'm going to tell you what I did today. I'm going to give you a brief synopsis of the situation right now, and then I'm going to tell you what I did legally, because after paying lawyers $500,000, I'd like to just go tie them up and rob their little pockets of all the money they took from me and say, I'm not letting you do anything because I have paid lawyers $50,000, $20,000, $10,000, $5,000, $168,000 without a motion being filed. Maybe one, oh, I went to go to the playground. Not a motion to dismiss, not a motion to continue, not a motion to do. There's hundreds of things that can be done when someone is falsely accusing you. And a motion for increased visitation, a motion to dismiss a supervisor, a motion to dismiss an order for a forensic psychological exam, which, by the way, are extremely corrupt. I'll do that in another video. If you're interested, you can read a book by Phyllis Chesler. It's called Women in Madness. It tells the history of the things that women have been put through by accusing them of mad, and they typically tend to be middle class, educated, very intellectual, oftentimes very beautiful, and they all have one thing in common. They piss the wrong man off. Man, unbelievable. You speak up to a man and you get shut down. Not anymore, sisters, not anymore. Anyways, so I'll go on about that more later, but today I'm in a situation because I've just been sentenced to 30 days in jail on mostly false charges, like she refused to put a jacket on her child when she was told, she disparaged the other parent. I'm like, please, like you want to talk about disparagement? My child's walking in the door and saying some crazy, crazy stuff to me about what he was told about mama. I haven't said anything. So these things are like made up, you know? It's like you can read the court orders and you can read some facts and findings, but it's not really telling you the truth. You can't really see what's really going on. The main issue was this woman, for 2 weeks, that I decided to be like, fuck you, I'm not giving up my nursing baby because I haven't done anything wrong. Decided to go on a little vacation, and she got awarded for those 2 weeks' time $41,000 plus another $200,000 for the future if I didn't come back within a certain time. Now I came back within that certain time, so that was thrown out. Though he testified that like he settled for $40,000 instead of $200,000. BS. And I am affected in a way where I can't actually question him on the stand because it elicits fear responses in my amygdala. Another story. But anyways, what's going on right now is that, so I owe this lady $41,000. I don't know what for, because, you know, I have like filed 10 motions with the court. She's appeared 4 or 5 times, dismissed them maybe 4 times. Who knows? The number of times changes every single time. She confuses me. One week she'll be like, we've been here 3 times. Next week she'll be like, we'll be here 5 times. Like, you mean the time your assistant showed up with like a paper to dismiss, you know, or a paper for continuance, and you weren't really here? Does that count as a time? So it's variable, the actual number of hearings. 10 hearings, and she testified that her cost for that was $4,000. That included when she had papers, like 4 stacks of papers printed out this thick. And we had a whole day hearing and several hearings that were, you know, about an hour to 2 hours long. Some of those hearings we had to wait in the courthouse all day. So for all that work, she got $4,000. January, February, March. From January 1st to March 26th, she made $4,000 on my case. And during the 2 weeks, she gets $41,000? I don't know what to tell you, other than someone be lying. Did I say someone was lying? Oh my goodness, I shouldn't say that. Oh my goodness. So anyways, there are things you can do if you get a financial judgment against you. So one, and I'm not a lawyer, this is not legal advice, but girl, if your lawyer's telling you something you can't do while you're doing it, you should not listen to him, because they will abuse you and lie to you and tell you there's nothing that can be done. They already award that money. You can't do anything about it. She's gonna get it. You gotta pay her. You better sign the papers. You better sign the papers now, bitch. Man, motherfucking stupid bitch, if you don't sign this paper, I'm gonna slam your head in the face. that sort of like diatribe. You know, I mean, most of it's like the emotional like assault. They didn't use those exact words of slamming my head in the face, but it's more like, bitch, why am I even helping you sort of stuff. But that's the way it makes you feel, lordy. So you can do several things. You can file, so first, after a final order, never sign an MSA. Never not go to court, because if you sign an MSA, you have no recourse. You literally cannot appeal that. Now, I got around that a little bit by filing a motion to vacate the mediated settlement agreement. The court didn't hear it, but what they did do is they struck out agreed on the final order, so it was entered as an order. Since they didn't hear my motion, I have more grounds for appealing. And I also have grounds for appealing because I did not agree to the way the final order was written, and I was coerced into signing it. So that's the position there. But at the end of it, if you, anyways, there or other times you might be able to file, I'm in the more like the appeals, and I've got a new lawsuit opening up. So on the appellate side, once you file to the appeal court, what you first have to do is file a notice of appeal. You've got to do that right away. Then you've got to file a motion for a court reporter's record, and then you have to file a motion for the district clerk's record or the clerk's record. You can find that. I suggest getting a subscription to like O'Connor's online. Massively helpful. So today, since I've got all this money due and I only was able to pay her $9,000, and this woman is already putting me in jail for 30 days for not paying her $41,000, which I don't know how I'm supposed to get $41,000. So I filed this motion. It's called Appellate's Motion to Decrease Security. Probably shouldn't show you that, but it's public record if you want to know. Anyways, and then by doing that, I'm basically asking the court to lower the amount that I would have to pay towards a bond or to secure that. And you don't have to pay the other attorney immediately. There's several ways you can do it. You can file a bond with a supersedious bond company or a bonding company. You can also file a deposit or the full amount with the clerk's office by cash check, cashier's check, or cash or whatever. And but the problem is with those methods, you can do those, but then it's called, well, I filed a supersedious bond. But if you have to actually put up the money for that bond, I mean, if you give it to the company, and if your appeal was granted to you and the judgment was turned over, then you would not have to, you would get that money back. But if you give them the money, there's no way to get that back on an appeal. There's little recourse. I've read different things. I've read there's no recourse, so that's the reason for this motion and stuff. Then I read somewhere else there was, so I'm not quite sure. So by filing this motion to decrease the amount of security, security refers to the money that I have to put up to secure the judgment that I owe her. So, it can take a really long time to do an appeal. So by filing this, I'm basically asking, instead of putting up, another $36,000, that I put up, $1,000 to $3,000, which, I could come up with. All I had to do was come up with my net worth. I mean, I just made a spreadsheet and looked up all my debts and my car debts and how much was in my bank account and my business value and my home value, and then looked up how much, which is on the appraisal district of your county. Usually there's a website for it. And then if you don't own a home, you don't have to put that. And then I put, how much for my car, and then I called the mortgage company and asked them the payoff value of my house. So that was that. It was just pretty easy. And then, after I figured out what to do, it took many hours to figure out what to do. And then I filed so basically if you're in the appeals area where you've appealed a final order, but then with the situation I'm literally not seeing my child. It's been 5 months since I've seen him. January, February, March, April, May. So I've had 8 visits with him in 5 months, and the dad won't let me have a phone call. He doesn't even live with the dad, he lives with the grandma. The courts seem to not give even though I filed with them before and told them before, they're just oh, whatever, that doesn't matter. What matters is you disparaged, or you didn't send your therapy release on time. I mean, so what? Is there any therapeutic value? And technically my lawyer was supposed to send it over, not me, and I sent it to them and gave them proof, but that doesn't matter, doesn't matter. And I'm on a diatribe. So what you can do is when you're in a bad order that you're appealing, you can file, it's called defendant's motion to suspend enforcement of final order and seek to modify parent-child relationship. I'll try to show you this better. I actually can't show you this paper because I will be put in jail if I put up his name on YouTube or anywhere else, so I can't tell you his name, and it's written on the paper here on the first page. But basically what it does, it's motion to suspend enforcement of the order. So what that means is that the motion prevents if they go file, if the other party goes and tries to file something and say, oh, she didn't do this, she didn't do that, which is like happening all the time now, then this should stop them from doing that. And it also should give me access to my child. But just to be sure, I also filed, if you want to get in sooner, because I filed on May 1st for a whole new lawsuit. I opened up a new lawsuit in the lower courts. They're refusing service, avoiding service, whatever. So what I did is I went and filed a temporary restraining order, but I didn't go all crazy. I wasn't like lying and saying, oh, he should never see the child, he should never do this. Honestly, I don't even see my child. I don't know if he's dead, if he's alive, if he's sick, if he's tired, if he's abused. I mean, he could just be like having the shit beat out of him every night and I wouldn't even know. So basically that's what I said in the temporary restraining order. I was like, I want immediate access, I want an exam, I want a drug test, like so on and so on and so on. It's been like drug problems, jeez. And, you know, I have some really great evidence from some PIs showing that him doing drugs in the car, not taking care of the child, just leaving the child home alone, not even watching him. He's like in the parking lot with him and he's like on the phone looking one way and the baby's like running back and forth. I mean, he is 2. I'm sorry. I would not be letting my 2-year-old baby run back and forth cars in the parking lot of a busy, tight condominium where he's out of my eyesight. I mean, like, what kind of dad? One time, he almost got hit by a car. Actually, twice. Do the courts care? No. When I met a lawyer, they're like, unfortunately, something really bad would have to happen to your child before the courts would probably do anything, and you're probably gonna lose. I was like, excuse me? So you're telling me my child has to die first, and then the courts will care? They sure didn't seem to care. When the dad took him away, they didn't seem to care that I wasn't doing anything wrong. He had like one phone call. If a woman's never yelling, you probably never knew a woman very well. Anyways, that's all I have to say for today. I'm not gonna make this video too long, but bows and apologies to the great patriarchy. Please continue to abuse us and take our children and rape us and just like destroy our lives because we're worthless and we don't contribute to the perpetuation of the human race at all. You can definitely do it on your own. You know what, while you're at it, maybe you should just lock us up all in cages, artificially inseminate us, or just like spread our legs open and to chains so you can just come fuck us and impregnate us whenever you want. And then you can take our innocent children. They're definitely gonna thrive really well on bottles and formula. I mean, we saw all the retarded babies that happen from just feeding them constantly formula their whole lives. I mean, come on. If you get near a mama buffalo's baby, she's gonna come gore you to death. Unfortunately, then they kill the mother. Sad, 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 sad world.